Bashers, 5 o'clock on Wednesday. Welcome, Bashtardos. I'm your host, Dirk. It is Dirk Weekdays. This is Bashers. It's great to see you all. How are you all doing tonight? I thought we'd have a little bit of fun and watch a little bit of, or see a little bit of what Omega was up to last night in Milan. I was going to feature some of it last night, but there wasn't enough of a feed. Throughout the show, I was clicking on stuff, trying to see when they updated it and who had it and what other watch reporters were there, and it looked a little celebrity light, if you ask me, other than I know George Clooney was there. But he's not in any of the official Omega website photographs, which I think is kind of weird because, you know, he's the Speedy guy. He's now the Akotera guy. He's been the all-around Omega man for quite a while, and we really appreciate that. I got a little bit of a green screen debacle going over there. Let's fix that. It's hiding the guitar arsenal. So let's use here, starting off hey man, this is like the first time ever. Andrew Wolkovich is not the first one in the gate, but hey, it is a first time for everything. Al Benedetti, hey, $1.99 super sticker. Let's start you off with a triangle. Thank you so much, Al Benedetti. Nick Sisto is also here with the super chat, $4.99. Buonasera a tutti. Buonasera. Buonasera to all of you. I don't know if it's nighttime everywhere, but it's certainly evening time here. Buonasera. And let's give you, for $4.99, let's give you a gong. Bang a gong, get it on. We've got Carolyn in the room. She says, time to bash. Al says, hello from Cleveland. Was pulled away for a bit. Life happens. It does. Missing out on my favorite hour of the day. Oh, boo. You're not going to be here? Well, we're talking about you. So you're here in thought and spirit. Dave Fitzsimmons is here. He goes, whoop, whoop, bring it on, bashers. CW Watch Enthusiasts. Good evening, everyone working an extra night shift tonight. Hey, you know what? Sometimes the night shifts can be fun, but hopefully able to watch this fully. I hope you're here. I hope you can watch it. Caloy is here. He upvoted. Please upvote and subscribe if you can to the channel, to the show. It really helps the algorithm out. If you subscribe and hit the thumbs up button and, hit the bell if you want. I'm here every day. You guys know when I'm here. Dean's here. He says, hello, Dean, the Master Gardener, sending all these great shots. I get them all the time. I've got some pretty good, there's a new shot in from Al Benedetti. That's great. Dave Fahrenheit 451, upvoted number 2. Vaughn is here too. Good afternoon, your Dirkness and fellow Bastards. Melly C, hey, no update, Melly C. I've been clicking, and it looks like they didn't try. Melly C sent me something, and I just don't know exactly what's going on. They apparently tried to send it while I was doing the show yesterday, which was bullshit because no one rang my bell. Ring that bell! Who rang that bell? What movie's that from? Who rang that bell? I looked at the updates today. I don't see anything. It's no big deal. I've got the big post office right down the block, so I can go find out what it is. Hopefully tomorrow. There he is, Andrew Volkovich. I swear I sent one 4 hours ago. Hello, everyone. Let's bash and upvote and share and become a Patreon if you can. It's the weirdo powers that be on the YouTube network, perhaps, Andrew, and that's Canadian $10. Let's give that let's give that up. Why not? Let's go. Let's do it with bang, since I knew you did. Mark Sherrod's here. Hey, Mark Sherrod. Hey, Dirk. How are you? FYI, Andrew was the first. Saw his super chat. Don't know what happened. How odd. How odd indeed. It is. I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at the list. I'm looking at yeah. I don't know what happened. I don't know how it works. It's the YouTube gods acting up. Maybe they're just like maybe they're just trying to ask Andrew to be more frugal. We love you, Andrew. You know that. You're the official mascot and or head cheerleader of Dirk Weekdays and the Bashers. Appreciate it so much. Oh, wow. You all saw it. Everybody saw it. I saw it. I don't know. Weird. I don't know. So what's on your minds on this whatever Wednesdays? I figure we'll start out with a little bit of a chit chat and see what you're all up to. If anybody has anything to say in particular, if not, we'll just get straight into the Omega event. Carolyn Martin says it's Andrew's financial advisor finally stepping in to stop this insanity. Which is probably true. Hey, Dave saw it too. Look at this. Everybody saw it. And it's not there now. Well, it's here now because you did another one, but that's weird. Very, very strange. Yeah, what are we gonna do? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'll start sharing. I'll start sharing what went on at the Icons Shine event, which is what Omega was calling it. As you know, look, I need to trim this. This is looking scraggly. Does anybody watch that guy, Simon Whistler? He's the guy on YouTube that has like, I used to love his show, but he speaks too fast. It's just way too fast. And he's a bald guy, kind of handsomey, British, and he now has this beard that's like this long. And now he's got too many shows. Today I found out, and Mechanical Marvels, and all these different things. This guy is just, he does everything like, today Carolyn Martin was there with the wrench, and she was on the Super Chat, and he talks so fast. I don't enjoy his shows, and I don't watch them as much, but I tuned into one yesterday because it was about space, which I'm obsessed with. And it was about terraforming, and that's kind of what Dirk Googles. Some guys are like, hot girls, big racks. I'm like, terraforming Venus. So I happened to see one last night. He had a beard like that big, and I was like, I don't think that's attractive. I think you need to keep your beards trim. I really do. I think a nice, neatly trimmed beard, and that's not neat. This needs to go. It's all scraggly. Yeah. Mark Sherrod says, did you catch Crystal from Breaking Points on Piers Morgan Uncensored? No, I didn't, and I'm not going to anymore. I'm done. Done with that. I'm done with it. Kids can't play nice. Don't play at all. It's getting to the point where I'm just like, oy. Steve Moreno, hey, got a nice email from him. Happy hump day, everyone tuning in while sorting my kids' Lego piles. Isn't that fun? Legos have been around since the dawn of time, and they're Danish, right? It's a Danish toy. Is that correct? Is it Danish? Correct me if I'm wrong. You guys are all. Andrew Wilkowicz goes, terraforming Venus. Now that's hot. That's what I watch. Steve says, lately I think Simon is spreading himself a little thin between his dozen channels. Too many channels, Steve. Right? I used to really enjoy his content. I loved Today I Found Out, because I always feel like today is a day that I find out something. It could be something as interesting information that you had no idea about, something in the arts, learning a new vocabulary word. Isn't it funny how, and this is so true. Every once in a blue moon, you'll hear a word that you've never heard before. And you'll go, oh, wow, I never heard that's a cool word, or that doesn't make any sense, or something like that. And then the next thing you know, you hear that word like 3 times that week. And you're like, did I just ignore that word for the entirety of my lifetime until now? How is that? It's like when you see, I finally saw one of those Cybertrucks, the Tesla Cybertrucks, probably about, I guess it's probably a month ago. I was going to the bank, and I was on this kind of mainish road in my neighborhood, and I could see it from far away because it's big. It's a big truck, and I've showed it on the show because one of our beautiful Bashtardos has one, and it takes up your whole sight line. It's a big, encompassing, freaking crazy looking thing. A lot of right angles, very sharp looking, and I've probably seen like 10 of them now. They're everywhere. I don't know how that happened. Carolyn Warren says, Dirk, silly question. Do you ever just sport a mustache? I have not in a very long time, and I did for a while. I did for a while, and I thought it was cool. I used to do the Fu Manchu thing. I did a regular kind of Magnum PI one. But with the Magnum PI one, you have to let it grow over your top lip, and it's really annoying, and you start biting it, and I don't like that. But I did the Fu Manchu thing for a while, and yeah, I have. I just think mustaches are either like, you either look like a nerd pedo or the Marlboro Man. It's one or the above. It's something that is, like now all the guys do Movember. They do mustache November, and then you see a lot of guys around that time, late fall, with mustaches, and that's for charity, and that's really nice too. But I haven't worn a mustache in quite a long time. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe. I like to play with all that stuff. I like to cut my hair and look like a different person as much as I can, because it's fun. Because it gets boring being yourself. Because Carolyn also said, I heard that word yesterday, and it was my husband saying no to me. Hey, you know what? The voice of reason is always when your spouse says no. Because generally they don't. I mean, unless you're one of those guys that just spends way too much money on your hobby. That's why the man cave and the she shed exist, because people are looking for places to go do their thing. It's where I'm looking to go terraform Venus. But if you look at my history, my search history, it's always either who shot this and how, because I'm obsessed with how films are made and how they're shot and what equipment they use, or I'm interested in what equipment a guitar player played, or what microphone was used on a vocal. I love technical things like that. And you won't find any of the other dopey stuff that I guess people look at. It's like FBI wants to go look through my, be my guest. I'm gonna tell you about Proxima Centauri or Centauri, as everybody's saying now. That's another thing about words and language, which I find extremely interesting. That over time, you know how the kids truncate all the words now. Everything's either an acronym or a contraction or whatever, but pronunciations are also different now. Now, coming from New York, where people talk like that, or they used to, nobody really does talk like that. Get pizza and a slice and a couple of beers. You guys up for a couple of beers? When I was growing up, I was Kennedy. My friend was La instead of Larry. And we had a whole different lingo that we don't have anymore. I think most New Yorkers, due to the making the world smaller, the internet. I think the internet is probably to blame for losing regionalities and accents. I never really had much of a New York accent because as a child, my father would take a fork on the back of our knuckles and smack it really hard if we said pitcher. Can you pass the pitcher of iced tea? Be well, like, that's a beautiful picture. He'd say it's pitcher and picture. And then we spent a lot of time in Ireland, where you learn how to do things like that. And I've always used a lot of Irishy words. While I don't have an Irish accent per se, I've always used a lot of terminology, and that throws a lot of kids off too. But my Italian friends did that too, as evidenced by watching a show like maybe The Sopranos, which is or is it The Sopranos? People who grew up, first generation, second generation, third generation, they take small amounts of their ethnicity and their language, and they just kind of incorporate them into, daily vernacular. And it just tends to be like, gabagool, which is capacoli, or soprasata is soprasat, mozzarella. And growing up, most of my friends were either Irish, Italian, or Jewish, and that's how it was. And of course, there was the Yiddish shit, which was super fun. I learned Beshert and on Spilkes and all kinds of fun stuff like that. And that's like a New York thing. How we that's the beauty of, there's a giant helicopter going over my house, and even though this room is kind of soundproof, it's not. That's a big, because I live right next to the East River, which separates Queens and Manhattan, and there's constant, or Manhattan. How about that one? Well, I was taking the train to Manhattan. That was like a real kind of a Puerto Rican, all the Spanish kids Spanish speaking kids that I used to go to school with, they'd say Manhattan. I think it's charming. I think it's sad that we're losing it. I think that regionality is kind of what makes people interesting, Fargo and that kind of thing. And people from the South who talk like that, who have those really sexy voices. We're losing, because now you're like, hi, my name's Sheila and I'm from Dallas, Fort Worth. That doesn't sound good. But if I'm Sheila from Dallas, Fort Worth, I'm a Texan. It's a greater thing, and we're all losing it. Eventually, we're all going to sound the same. We're all going to look the same. Here's a thing that I saw, which is really super fun. And there's some really cool chats in here, and I'll get to them in a second. Did anybody see Tucker Carlson on Joe Rogan? Wow. That was mind-blowing. I'm not going to get into it in depth, but it's a real interesting, regardless of what you think about him or his politics, forget about it. All that, who cares? Those people, all those political pundits who are on TV are paid to be the way they are. I think I've told everybody the Sean Hannity story. Now, for the international viewers, Tucker Carlson is a very right-wing conservative broadcaster that was part of the Fox News network, and says some provocative things, and kind of like a Pierce Morgan kind of shebang-a-rooney, but more of a host. Anyway, he was fired from his job for, I don't even know for what. We have it on both the left and the right, and it's fine because these people are paid. So Sean Hannity is the highest paid broadcaster in America, and his story is that I have met a myriad of bartenders in New York City who said, "Oh, you know who came in, and you know who's the best tipper in the whole wide world? Sean Hannity." I'm like, "What do you mean, Sean Hannity? He came into your bar? Like, he comes in every once in a while. He tips like 500, $1,000 on. He has one drink and leaves." And the one girl got into a conversation with him, and she's very attractive. Maybe that's why he stuck around. And she's also incredibly intelligent and engaging. So they're talking, and he said to her, he handed her $1,000, and he goes, "That's for the guilt." She said, "What do you mean the guilt?" He goes, "I'm paid to be an asshole." He goes, "I have to live with that." And he walked out. So I don't worry about that stuff. So anyway, I digress. Tucker Carlson was on Joe Rogan, and he talked about how, he's a creationist, apparently, how Darwinism isn't real, and talked about we don't really know how nuclear physics work, and we don't really know how the nuclear bombs work. Well, we made them. And he went on Joe Rogan's show to do that. Anyway, he has survived fine. He's a very wealthy guy. He got fired from a show. He has his own show now, and he's flourishing in his lane, and that's fine. He also comes from, or his wife comes from a serious money. I forget exactly what company it is off the top of my head. I used to remember what it was. Oh, it's Swanson's. Swanson's is in America. Swanson's is like a TV dinner. Europeans don't have that because Europeans all eat well and they eat fresh. In America, pre-packaged food. It's like a tray, an aluminum tray or an aluminium tray that's got like a meat, a potato, and a vegetable and a dessert, and it's covered in plastic, and you put it in a microwave. Anyway, they're very famous TV dinners. That's what they're called here. His wife comes from she's the heir to that fortune, so he's doing okay. But it was very interesting that he would go on there and just debunk science. It's like when people talk about the Ark. There's a Noah's Ark, the original Ark. Well, actually, I guess the Ark of the Covenant is the original Ark, right? There's an amusement park that has an ark in it, and it shows how Noah gathered all the animals and blah 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 blah, and it's a religious based thing for creationists. And listen, whatever floats your boat, I'm fine with that. If somebody's got a good argument, I'm down, especially if there's a glass of wine or two. And but I was surprised that Tucker Carlson would go on there, and Joe Rogan just seemed like he had absolutely no answer for what was coming out of his mouth. I mean, I didn't get to see the whole thing. I just saw a bunch of little clips. I can't wait to watch the whole thing just to see how listen, I'm saying how dig a ditch he dug for himself. That's a good one, right? How deep a ditch he dug for himself. I would love to see that. But at the end of the day, who knows? Maybe he's right. I told you I have a friend who's a member of this very interesting society called QAnon. And every once in a blue moon, I'll run into them, and they'll tell me about the events that are about to happen. And twice I've had to go over to their apartment, and I'm not saying they're them because they're non-binary. I'm just saying it because I don't want to reveal their gender. For those of you who might know me and know who I know, just protecting them because they're a very nice person. I mean, couldn't be a sweeter person. But But I've had to go over there because I'm a nerdy geek computer nerdo. And I've had to go clean out their computer because they go on the dark web and they get loaded with all kinds of malware and viruses and stuff. And they're on a Mac. So that just goes to show you that when you go on the dark web, kids, you're going to pay the consequences. You know, it's crazy. But anyway, that's my story. I just thought it was interesting. I want to watch the whole thing so I have a better context. The ones that I saw, of course, just made him look really stupid. And I'm sure I'm sure he's not stupid enough to look that stupid. So I'm sure there's probably more to it than what the sensationalist blurbs and clips and shorts and things that you see. I'm sure it is. Anyway, on to better things. Steve Miranda says the kids are in their teens and it's time to get rid of. Oh, don't do that. Probably a few $1,000s worth of these plastic bricks. I don't know. Maybe you could take it up, Steve. I mean, do you like building stuff? I always said that Paul says, I can't wait till I'm old enough that just building a ship in a bottle is enough for me. You know, you hear about like all these guys our age that are like cheating on their wives and out carousing and, you know, hunting down tail and just like, who cares? Who cares? At this point, like I said, man, I would just much rather have a really good cup of tea and some toast or a glass of wine, you know. Dave says, who hasn't stepped on a Lego? It's the most painful thing in the world when you step on one of those really hard angles of a Lego. It's absolutely the worst. Nathaniel says, every Cybertruck has now been recalled for a sticking problem. I heard about that with the gas pedal. Is that what we call it? We can't call it a gas pedal. We call it an accelerometer or a accelerator pedal. Cover coming unglued. Oh, is that what it is? I thought it was you put the gas pedal down and it just sticks and you just can't stop. My nephew has I don't know what model is. It's not the one with the gull wing doors. I don't think it is. No, it's like the sedan one. I don't know. There's nothing in there. You go inside a Tesla and it's like a seat and a window and a little tablet and that's it. There's nothing. It's so Spartan in there. It's they look like the cars in Sleeper, if you ask me, like the Woody Allen movie from 100 years ago. I think that's like 1972. Andrew says, I used to get into more trouble till I realized do whatever you want didn't actually mean to do whatever I want. Although her sister did come to my defense saying that we had her permission. Bum. Hey, Conair, how are you? Kiev is the one that got me. I grew up. Oh, yeah. Kiev. Me too. I mean, us all probably, right? We all said Kiev, chicken Kiev. We had a diner. I'll tell you something about New York City. It's not even a diner. We had this restaurant called the Kiev, and I'm going to call it the Kiev because it was historically the Kiev. They said Kiev, and they were from Kiev. But it was in Greenwich Village, in the East Village of New York, and it's where every rocker went after their gig because they had great soup. They had mushroom barley soup that was out of this world. And you could get sandwiches and burgers and things like that. And it was a Ukrainian restaurant on 2nd Avenue, and I'm going to say 7th Street, 6th or 7th. I was really close to St. Mark's Place, which was like a very big. St. Mark's Place in the East Village is one of the most famous. Used to be a rock and roll street. You'd see doo-wop. You'd see all kinds of crazy rock and roll clothing stores. There was a place called Trash and Vaudeville and Ends. We used to get all our stage outfits there and all the clubs and bars that people used to play back in the day. It was a really great scene. And of course, before my time, in the 70s and 60s, apparently it was even better. But we used to go to the Kiev, and then all of a sudden, when the war broke out in Ukraine, everybody's saying Kiev. Obviously, that's how they pronounce it. You know, it's like Paris and Roma and Madrid. You know, I mean, it's amazing how, like, Japan is Nippon, yet we all say Japan. That's like ANA is All Nippon Airways, but JAL is Japan Airlines. It's amazing how, like, why don't we just say Roma or Paris, you know, or Madrid, or even though, like, what do they say? Was the French say Madres? I mean, L'Angleterre. In Italian, Germans are Tedeschi. Who cares? I don't know. Steve says between 20 and 30-year-olds all now finish every sentence like it's a question. Huh? Oh my God. It's like, yeah. And when it's not a question, I don't know what that is. It's this lilt. It's almost as bad as vocal fry. Last night we were totally in that place and it was amazing. They had chocolate martinis. Thank God I think that's mostly gone. That was that, oh, baby, baby, how was I supposed to know something wasn't right? That's that whole 90s Britney Spears thing. And all the girls started talking with a vocal fry. And then you'd see narrators on commercials. Like, Playtex bras are the absolute greatest CrossFit. Terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Conair says, have you watched any of the New York murders on Netflix? A scary place to be in the 70s. Hey, I lived it, man. I was a child in the 70s and I was a teenager in the 80s. So I remember this place being Murder Inc. I was talking to, who was I talking to? Sheen yesterday. I was talking about how the Bronx, there's an expression called the Bronx is burning. And that was literal. Because when I was a kid, you could smell the Bronx from Queens and Manhattan because it was always being set on fire. It just looked like the back of the Kiss Destroyer album, which is a burnt out city with rubble and flames and stuff. It looked like, Beirut, after the siege. It was just a mess. And I even remember the president, and I don't forget which president, I think it was Gerald Ford, famously said I'm pretty sure it was Ford. Gerald R. Ford said, the cover of the paper said, Gerald Ford to New York City, drop dead. So there's no way to come back from that. It was really, really crazy. Dean with the super sticker, £2.99. I'm just looking at your picture here and I'm wondering, it's very Hollywood. Is that a bang? Is that the fringe on your hair? What is going on there? Can I blow this up? Can't tell what that is exactly. Or is that some kind of, you doing like the Salvador Dali mustache? Very cool, dude. Looks very, very cool. Nathaniel says that technically he's right that we don't know what keeps atomic nuclei together. We just know they get very unhappy about being broken apart. I don't know if that's the context by which he was quizzed or the statement that he made. From the clip I saw, it didn't seem to be about that. It just seemed to be like, we don't know anything about that. Could be. I don't know. I'll have to watch the whole thing. You're a mean one, Mr. Bad Gas. You're a bastard. You are here. He says Tucker is way off his rocker. Just because he doesn't understand something does not make it wrong or unknowable. I guess we're all guilty of that. Like I said, I want to watch the whole thing while discussing Noah's Ark, whatever floats your boat. I just think it's fascinating that, listen, we just recently found out that Big Bang is a possibility not to be true. These are all theories. In theory, they're all theories. They're, somebody's hypothesis on how things got started. I mean, the universe is something that is, yes, it's expanding and time expands and space time, the fabric of space time and all this. There's a lot of math involved in all of that. So, why? Because a couple of weeks ago I mentioned something about we discovered a galaxy that was like 30 billion years old. Well, technically it might not be 30 billion years old, but it's 30 billion light years away because the universe moves out very quickly. Something we don't really have a grip on. So who knows? Maybe Noah's Ark. Maybe there was a guy Noah and he really had an ark and it wasn't a parable. It wasn't a story. Maybe like the Bible was written by people and people love to say it's the word of God. It's the word of people. It's the word of people talking about what God talked about to them or to whomever. Just saying. I look at it that way at least. And if people don't, if they think it's the actual, and it's been rewritten so many times. What do we have the King James edition? That's not good when royalty gets involved in rewriting your spiritual text, right? Right, Nathaniel? He spoke about Aliens too. I can't wait to watch it. I'm going to watch it tonight. Angelo Minichello. Nathaniel, breaking the strong, fierce releases a relatively huge amount of energy. Voila, big boom. Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's why I want to know specifically what part of the nuclear chain he's talking about. Is, we all know that the basics of it, most of us do, but then there's, those guys, nuclear physicists who should know, or shouldn't. I mean, don't we have the big hydrogen collider in Switzerland? I remember when that thing was built. Everybody was like, "It's the end of the world. We're going to create a black hole. The Earth is going to become a black hole, and it's going to swallow up everything." And everybody's flipping out. I don't know. Steve, my hobbies do include building things, woodworking and concrete, outdoor structures and furniture, as does our illustrious and wonderful matriarch of the channel, Carolyn Martin, who is a pen maker, master pen maker. I own one. It's not in my room right now because it's in my man bag, because I carry it with me because I absolutely love using it when I need to sign things. And people always go, "Ooh, beautiful pen," and then I let them write with it, and they're like, "Ooh, so." And it's made out of wood, and it's quite beautiful. And she also does a lot of woodwork. I wish I was good at something like that. I mean, like I can change a bicycle chain, I can take bikes apart, I can take computers apart, but like I don't have that craftsman ability. Like Paul has got that. He's amazing at that kind of stuff. I just think certain people are just, born with the ability to build and make beautiful things, i.e. Woodworking and concrete. Knowing all the Italians that I've known, they came over here. You just don't see the same kind of masons anymore. The people that, the bricklayers and the concrete guys. And I think, Steve, you probably weren't around back in the day, but right after, when they were building the One World Trade Center, I was working at the bar I worked at for 100 years, and this guy came in, and his wife had just left him, and he was like he left me a really big tip, and his name was Tony Concrete. And I did look him up, and I don't remember his real name, but it turns out he was the lead concrete guy, and he was bitching about these kids today, and this is 20 some odd years ago, right? And he's talking about how these kids don't know the trade, and he grew up around concrete. His father worked with concrete, and his grandfather worked with concrete, and it's true. If you look at all the buildings and things that they make now, it's very, very little left of the artisans of yesteryear and the people that used to do. I mean, all the most beautiful buildings were built, either in the Victorian era or the Romanesque era, or look at all this, the stuff in the Renaissance, international style. While I like a lot of it, like the Lever building and the Seagram's building, I like a lot of those Mad Men buildings. But they don't have the same kind of thing. I mean, I love mid-century modern design and architecture. I love Eero Saarinen, and I love all that stuff. Paul was incredibly involved in trying to get the TWA terminal saved, and we went to all the little symposiums, and all when they had no money, no funding, it was just a little thing, just like we're involved with the SS United States ocean liner, involved in a big way, going to all the things. Then finally they got a partner, and then finally they got a hotel partner, and then boom. If anybody is ever in New York, I urge you to go when you're staying in New York City, or if you're having a layover, check into the TWA hotel. It is a wonderful experience. You get to be Don Draper for the day, or Betty Draper. And they built these two wings on the side of the hotel, which are the hotel rooms, beautifully incorporating the whole Saarinen style design. And they have a all year round heated pool with steam on the top of it, great bars, a really great restaurant by Jean-Georges, which is more of a kind of a bistro. It's not inexpensive, but it's not expensive. A pizza is like $15 for a personal pizza, which is not terrible, but like, you could get dinner and wine and stuff in there for like, $200. And it's really nice. And it's right in front of the now new JetBlue Terminal 5. Anyway, so we were involved in all that stuff. So I like that stuff. Anyway, I go on and on because Steve said my hobbies do include building things. I don't really build things, but I can fix things. But I'm more of a music-y creatory guy, or a computery fixery guy. What are you talking about, Ray? Ray, blueberry yogurt with blueberries every morning. Hereditary hemothrombocrosis. Spell check not work. I don't know what that is. I certainly knew what thrombocytopenia was. Chris P, correct. He has the Model Y. Thank you for that. I miss when cars were like Le Sabre and Wildcat. I don't know, like the 59X. It's not as exciting. Dave says our son picked up the Founders Edition. The issue with the accelerated pedal was installed with soap. What? Nathaniel Hannon, $9.99 for me. It's never what do you want? It's what do you think you can afford? Well, that's much smarter than the average bear, mister. Nathaniel Hannon, always here on iBashers to give people a bit of sanity. I would agree. Angela says the recall was an internal address of possible issues that might occur, proactive response to the issue, and it's been pretty much addressed already. Fix takes about 2 minutes to do. Well, that's good to know because those cars are really quiet, so you don't hear them come, and the next thing you know, you're shop meat. Oh, hey, Dave Fahrenheit 451 says great documentary on Love Canal. Love Canal was our Chernobyl, I guess you want to say, the 3 Mile Island. That was in the 70s, right? Am I mixing up two things? Love Canal was near 3 Mile Island. Is that correct? I think so. It was nuclear radiation. It was the China syndrome, when in the 70s when America was crazy about, no nukes. Nuclear power, nuclear fission. It's an incredible thing. It might get us to the stars one day when we learn how to harness dark matter. When we actually figure out what we know that space is made up mostly of dark matter, but we just don't know what dark matter is. So, Tucker, maybe I can get him on the show and he can tell me what it is. Dean says part 2 of the film Dune. I haven't seen part 1. I should watch the Dune movies, right? I know. Steve Moreno with $20. Triangle, please. It's my favorite. Well, I love that. You know what, guys? From now on, I think it's a smart idea to ask which one you want because I absolutely love that. This is for you, Steve Moreno. Cha-cha. That's terrific. You asked which one you want. I think that's pretty great. Here's Oshino Malley. He's watching the show. He's watching over us, kids. Nathaniel had a strong nuclear force. As for the dude with the bang, it's from Dune 2. I haven't seen the movie, and even I know. But anyway, back to the Kiss tour from 77. Oshino O'Malley loves to think that all I do is talk on this show about Kiss. I've probably talked about them twice. We talked about nuclear fission. We talked about Proxima Centauri. We talked about dark matter. We talked about a lot of stuff. Steve Miranda says the Big Bang as we know it is simply in an infinite cycle of big bangs. Oh, okay. So it's like it's a never-ending cycle of contraction and explosion. We will never know how old the universe is. That's probably true. We probably will never know. We'll be long dead. The sun will have cooled and expanded and swallowed us up, and we will have never figured out how to travel to the stars. And this very small Horton Hears a Who segment of the universe will be dead because, the next possible life is probably 1 million light years away. I truly believe we have never been visited by aliens. I don't think we'll ever see aliens. I don't believe in chariots of the gods. I don't believe in any of that stuff. I just think we're just too far away. And, if it's true that the universe is 13 billion years old, if that is true, which I'm sure it isn't, everybody got started at a specific time. They would have had to have gotten started before us, right? Probably, unless we're just really stupid cells. Maybe they're just smarter. Their cells were smarter. They evolved faster. Sorry, Tucker. And maybe that's it. So I don't know. I don't think so. I don't buy any of that. I think we're probably, as much as I would love that, love that more than anything in the whole wide world, have a spaceship land and and we'd have to deal with it, and we'd have to all band together and not hate each other anymore. I think it'd be the greatest dose of medicine for humanity. It's never going to happen. I don't think so. Not in my time. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Who cares? Who cares? Andrew says that Bye Bye Birdie had a song about kids these days. Oh man, you're showing your age. And when people say that, it's crazy. Like, why can't a young person watch Bye Bye Birdie? They could. I got to say this about Anne Margaret. Man, was she gorgeous, but boy, was she a terrible singer. Angelo says his godfather Luigi was a master mason. Anyway, I'm going to hit these super chats, then I'm going to talk about Omega because I've been just going on for 40 minutes. Dean 199 Dune Part 2 AI special effects. Oh, that's what that is? Okay, now I get it all. Thank you so much. Everybody likes a triangle, so let's give it to them. Andrew, $5 Canadian. I missed the original Little Bell. Up for you know where it is? It's in my living room. It's not here. I don't even have it on my desk anymore. But for you, Andrew, I will go get it and I will return it to my desk. So let me get you. How about this? Hey, Lord H is in the room. Good to see you, Lord H. Now you're going to see Bigfoot isn't real. There was a great episode of The $6 Million Man with Stephanie Powers. This is probably 1977, where turns out Bigfoot lives in a mountain, and he is the emissary for these aliens that were stranded on Earth. And Stephanie Powers was like the skin tight, because everybody wore spandex in the 70s, like Logan's Run and Colonel Wilma Deering. And turns out that they have cures for cancer, and this alien woman is dying, and she gives the serum. They only have one dose left, and she gives it to Steve Austin to save his life. I was amazed. It was incredible. Anyway, let me get onto this, because otherwise we could just chat if you want, but I think it'll be fun. So icons shine in Milano. Let's go and have a look. So here was last night. Omega's latest Speedmaster 38mm watches shone with their own light as a star-filled. Where are the stars? You know who the biggest star is in this thing for me? Reynold. Because he's a star to nerds like us, because we're like, Reynold Eichmann. Europe's style capital attended by brand ambassadors Naomi Harris. Okay, she's cool. Naomi Harris is Moneypenny in the Daniel Craig. I wonder if she probably is out of a job, right? I think they're going to clean house entirely. And Alessandra Ambrosio. You guys might know who she is. I don't know. I don't know who this dude is. I don't know who any of these guys are. I don't. That guy, he's got to be Italian. He looks like he's going to the gay sex club afterwards. Look at this. Or he's in the. Oh, it tells you who they are. Alessandra Ambrosio. She's a very attractive lady. This guy is Jonathan Bailey. Jonathan Bailey was the guy in that terrible movie about the two gay dudes that worked for Herbert Hoover or whatever. That was really bad. That's Naomi Harris. She's great. And who's this gal? Alicia Bowe. Hello, Alicia Bowe. Anyway, they were in Milan, and they were here to talk about. There's Reynolds, always looking great. He's trim. He's wearing a great suit. That's perfect for it. A little crumply on the pants, but it's the way he's standing. I love his shoes. His jacket, man, perfect cut on the jacket. One button. This guy's fit as a fiddle. He looks great. Handsome guy. Looks terrific. I don't know who is this girl. I guess this is that Alicia Bowe girl. No, that's not her. I don't know. Yeah, and is that Big Dog? I don't know who that is. So they set this up to show off these new Speedies, and these are the 38mm kind of bling editions. These watches came out in 2017. With the slightly ovaline, kind of brackets on the outside of these. The subdials they're actually round. It's just the outer ones that look crazy, and it's got the new finish like the 3861. Class, but they're bejeweled now. I mean, I gotta say, I'm not a big diamonds guy, obviously, because diamonds are not a guy's best friend. But the green one is quite beautiful, and I think on ladies it's lovely. But look, here it is on a guy's wrist, so they them, baby. I mean, it looks cool if you're into ice And I'm sure a bunch of rappers went, you know why rappers won't wear this? Because it's Omega. Because it's not Rolex and it's not AP and it's not Patek Philippe and it's not Hublot. I don't think Omega is ever on the wrists of like the hip hop community. It's just that brand just doesn't scream it to them. They don't talk about it. It's just not a thing. Let me take that off the screen. That's the problem, I think. Well, it's not the problem. I think I'm happy that my favorite brand is not like in every bling bling video there is. And then they show off all the different models, and that's fine. And I have a different screen I'll share with you, which has the models, and we could look at those. And then I'm going to do a couple of things on. I picked out a bunch of ladies' watches that I thought were beautiful, and I know we're in a unisex world for the most part, and forget about all the the non-binary chitter chatter, because ladies are wearing what are classically described as men's watches, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think they look beautiful on a lot of ladies, and people should be able to wear whatever they want. But however, I do care about the sizes of watches on one's wrist. And if a lady is wearing a watch that's too big, it looks like a clock. Like the pretty little Asian boys, their watches are too big. They need to make a special. They should, if all the brands were smart, they'd make all the big models for the Asian market, which is obviously big in wine and jewelry and all that stuff and luxury goods, and make one for their market, because they're smaller guys. I mean, they just are in stature. That's all. So this is quite beautiful. These are the watches. Little videos. And who is this beautiful girl? I don't know who she is. She's one of the big. She's one of the people that are listening. And this guy is a woman. Maybe I can't tell. I'm looking at the manicure, and this is the new trend, right? People are wearing their watches over their shirts or jackets, as if they're like on an Apollo mission. The Velcro strap, which and I have the big one here too. I have a replacement strap for this. I just haven't put it on. This was very, very big. As a matter of fact, I was talking to one of the Bashtardos about how much they're in love with this watch. And it is it's a beautiful dial. I mean, you know me, I'm a big fan. I think Omega, when this watch came out, I remember thinking it was beautiful. And then everybody was like, ew, I don't like it. People weren't crazy about it. I think there's a lot of work went into the design of this. I think it looks great. I like it a lot. I think it's really cool. Yeah, 38 and Sedna gold. This is just an upscale version of something that they put out. Now that looks amazing. Look at that. I wouldn't mind one of those in green, man. Does that come in green? Should look, because the black dial looks amazing. And the date window is either trapezoidal or ovaline. So it was her wearing it. Okay. Look at this full gold, full diamonds. I believe I saw that priced it. It was actually not like Rolex money. It was like 18 grand. Here's another guy wearing he's a hand model because his hand is beautiful. It looks good. She's got beautiful hair. This is her thing, right? Let me go see that watch. Can I see that one? See if that one's available without, because that is a beautiful watch. Do you guys like these watches? Closed case back, which is nice. It's got a 3330 in it. So it's a great looking movement. They just decided to, close it off. Column wheel, look out. It's got a George Daniels coaxial escapement in it, and a silicone 14 balance spring. Pretty amazing. I love that green. Now, when Sheen and the gang were overlooking at the Vacheron Constantin, they were crazy for that green dial, and it was maybe the lighting, but in person, like the same was, when I was in Venice and I saw the Aquaterra in green, which I had been lusting over. Turns out it looked black. It really looked black. Okay, I'm going to just go through these real quick to see if I can find if that watch without the bling bling is available in green. So let's go to this. It would be this model, right? But does it have a green dial? Plus 22. Jesus. Omega. Jesus. Look, I don't see a green dial. See, steel on steel. That looks great, right? Now, is this available in? Is this available in with a green dial? Huh. See, why do they do that? It's amazing in black, but green dial would be, it's 22. There's 22 pieces to be had here. So here's the green dial. But can you get the green dial in steel? No, just diamonds? Hold on. Maybe if I go through the green dial ones, I could find the one without it. Nope. Omega, see, they're like Apple. They give you almost everything you want. Wouldn't this watch look great with that colored and just a steel without the bling bling? Wow, $17,400, 38 millimeters on alligator. Okay, there you go. There you go. What are you saying in the chitter chatter? Ray saying, now saying Big Bang never happened. It maybe didn't. Andre the Giant. That's who it was. It was Andre the Giant who played Bigfoot on the $6 Million Man. Yes, Scotty H. Lord H. Wasn't Bigfoot played by the actor? No, it wasn't Richard Keel. That was Richard Keel. See, I can't remember Julia Roberts, but I can remember Vittorio Storaro, and I can remember Richard Keel. That's that part of brain I fried by not doing drugs. Maybe I should. It was Andre the Giant. It certainly was. It comes in two varieties, so go on the website and have a look. See, they're very, very beautiful. Carolyn Martin says 76 people. Please upvote if you can. So I'll sing and dance. I can dance if you want to. I can leave the bash aside, and if you don't bash, then everyone bash you. No bastard of mine. Steve Moreno, who is a very new contributor to the show. We're so happy to have you on here. He's very involved. He sent me a lovely email. Steve, thank you so much for being a part of the Bastardos. I was lucky enough to visit both the Longines and Omega HQ and museums in December. Loved the Longines visit, but the Omega one really felt sterile. That can happen. It depends. And you know what, Longines? I've been talking about that brand on the show. I would love to get a vintage Longines. I'm going to go start looking around for like a really old, simple three-hander or something with a date. I love the brand. I love the history. I think Longines is great. And I always, listen, everybody's like, I want them. I'm going to mention this for a second. Ready for this? You guys want to hear this? You're watch people. So one of my beautiful Bashtardos, who I've been talking to, has a beautiful vintage Rolex. I'm not going to name names. And it's vintage, but not so vintage. It's like 35 years-ish vintage. It's Rolex. And it keeps 2 plus 2 minus 2 a week. It's in pretty great shape. Had it serviced about 10 years ago and lives in the United Kingdom and was going to go have it serviced. And they told them at the service center, the official Rolex service center, that sorry, we can't accept the service unless we can replace the hands and the dial and possibly the bezel. And this is a watch. I'm going to say it's a GMT Master 2 Coke. Okay, just letting you know. That's what it is. And he was flummoxed by that whole thing. And he asked me about it. He just said, have you ever heard of such a thing? I said, I have never heard of such a thing in my entire life. So what I did was I actually got on the phone with Rolex in New York City. Rolex, luckily enough, if you have a Rolex and you're in the New York City area, Rolex it's not, Bucherer or any of that. It's Rolex. It's a Rolex service center. You go in there, it's Rolex. It's Rolex's place. The company has a place in New York where they do service, and you can go in there and sit down. There's offices and all this stuff. So I spoke to a wonderful rep over there, and I told him the whole story. He said, that's absolute complete bullshit, because we don't do that. He goes, first of all, what makes people's watches special is their patina and their age, and people don't want it. People don't care about the lume being faded or whatever, and this would probably be a watch at that time. It's not super luminove. It's it's tritium, more than likely, right? And so they were trying to extract money out of one of our Bashtardos, which I think is a very terrible thing. So be very careful when you go to an authorized service center. Anyway, he did not give me the name of the specific place that he went to, but the guy on the phone asked me if he could get it, because he said Rolex would be very interested in knowing who said that to a Rolex customer because they were horrified, because that is not their policy. There's no such policy in place unless the following. He said, if there's something going on in the watch where there is material or debris that is interfering with the movement that could damage the movement, then we would step in and say something like that. And we would tell you first. This guy just looked at the watch and said, bye, and put it down. Anyway, thought you'd care about that, right? It's a Rolex. Who cares? Who cares? Anyway, let's quickly go through the ladies' watches that I chose to look at today, because they do make ladies' watches and they're beautiful. And if you're wearing a men's timepiece, that's fine too. That's fine. Absolutely fine. So let me get that off the screen. Thank you, Lord H. And I will share the screen of these beautiful watches. And I have some queued up. Let's go to, here it is. Great. Starting out with this, the classic of all classics, right? The Tank Must by Cartier. Beautiful watch. It's usually quartz, but you know, we don't quartz shame on this show. Why would we do so? I mean, it's the classic of all classics, isn't it? It always looks great. You go to France, almost every woman's wearing one of those or another watch on this list. Beautiful watches. I think everybody loves them, don't they? Number 2 is, and that's not a watch I normally think of for women. Normally I don't, but hey, you know what? I think of this, and this, by the way, this design's been around since like 1917 or 1918. It's a classic forever, and it's a classic for a reason, and that's why they buy it. But for Euro 2680, I'm assuming that is, my mother-in-law has one that is an automatic movement, so you can get them, but they're just more expensive. This is a Jaeger LeCoultre Reverso. Now, I never really thought about this watch as being a woman's watch, but why wouldn't it be? It's demure, it's small, it's perfect, it's so beautifully designed. It looks like jewelry. It comes in lots of different things, and this also, it's just absolutely beautiful. This is a 21 millimeter stainless steel and alligator version of that for 4,400 euros. Absolutely beautiful, designed in 1931, and it's still a classic. A lot of different iterations. Beautiful. Now, here's another watch that I never really thought about for women is the Royal Oak. But they do, the Royal Oak is, was 1972, Gerald Genta, obviously. And it was really a 32 millimeter version that I didn't, people don't wear 32 millimeter watches, but the vintage ones were right. I don't even know. And Oisin will kill me because he loves Audemars Piguet. And if he sees it, I don't know if they even offer that size anymore. I'd have to go look. But look at that. So shop now. If I said shop now, what would happen? It would take me to Audemars Piguet. Would it take me right to that watch? 38 millimeter pink gold. I've really changed my tune about these watches. I really have. I think they're sexier than hell now. So let's just go back to that. Beautiful. I mean, look at that. Look at that, man. That's a Nautilus, like these small Nautiluses on women. I did not know that. 1976, 32 millimeters. Look at this watch. Absolutely incredible. A street style sporting a Patek Philippe Nautilus. Getty Images. I mean, Gerald Genta is not my favorite thing in the whole wide world, but man, did that guy make a bunch of classics, Incredible. In gold, it's absolutely beautiful. And you know what's coming up too. Here's Nick wearing the Constellation. Now, this is a more recent edition. Of course, Omega didn't have they had much smaller, more jewelry style things, but the one that they went after in 82 is the Constellation Manhattan. And it's a classic. And my friend has one of these, and she absolutely adores it. I love it. It's beautiful. Isn't it great? Beautiful. That looks very Genta-esque too, doesn't it? I know he didn't do it, but this really does. But who wouldn't evoke that? Now, here's an interesting thing. The Hermès Euro H watch. You guys know that that Hermès is really trying to make a point to, be considered a watch brand. And of course, the Valche family, the Santos family that owns Parmigiani, they make all the movements for these watches. But this particular watch, I don't think that this watch comes in a mechanical version. I think that this version is only available in quartz. This is the small, comes in small, medium, and large. It's a very cool looking watch. The design's nice, and we don't court shame, because why would we do that? If you like a watch, you should wear it. It's beautiful. But they do have Vacher making their. It's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. It looks great on a woman. The Chanel Premier Edition Originale. I've seen this on so many older ladies, and I know this came out in the 80s. But listen, the reason why people buy this is because it just goes with so many things. It goes with their Chanel look. Quartz also. Now, this I thought was absolutely beautiful. This is the Georg Jensen Viviana. Now, look at this thing. That is so friggin' cool. I wonder if old watch lady has one of these. Or Carolyn, have you ever decided? Have you ever seen this watch before? I've seen this in the Metropolitan Museum of Art years ago, and I remembered it, and I looked it up, and I found that it was there. It's beautiful. 1962, Swedish designer Viviana Turin Bülow Ube. Amazing. Or Ube. Beautiful watch, right? And of course, you know that this has to be in the Serpenti Turbogas. This is the rage right now. Everybody wants this in gold. What a watch. Everybody's wearing it. You see it at all the shows, all the stuff. Everybody's crazy for it. Crazy. And then the Piaget Limelight Gala, which is so we talked about this on Watch Fashion Police. I think we had mixed opinions of it. But when you see a beautiful woman wearing that on a wrist, it looks great. It's a beautiful watch. Anyway, I thought I'd share that with you. Some beautiful watches for ladies, or just wear a man's watch if you want it, or wear a watch. It doesn't really matter what you do. Steve Moreno says that Rolex here in Dallas is accepting applications for a tuition-free watchmaking program. Very cool. They even pay $1,800 monthly living stipend. That's nice. And a free trip to Geneva for the final exam. Everybody get on a plane, right? That's amazing. Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. First class starts in September. Thank you so much for that. Carolyn Morton says they offer 34. That's good to know. Beautiful. Yeah, because Mother's Day is coming up. That's why I decided I should have advanced said that it's, for Mother's Day. Unfortunately, my mom's no longer with me, and I, would have loved to have given her. I bought my mother 2 watches. I mean, they were humble watches. One of them was Raymond Weil, and the other one was a Tiffany watch that I think my sister has now, and I hope that she does, because it was very beautiful, and they're pretty. Hitesh says, looks like a Movado. Man, there's these Movado commercials that are driving me crazy. They're all over the place, and I can't get rid of them. And it's like I tried to stop it. It's on my TV. I can't get rid of it. Anyway, let's get to the Bashtards Gallery. Starting out with Jade. Actually, let's start the other way. Jade, I'm going to put you the most recent. So I'm going to start out with Nicisto. Oh, it's Nick Sisto. Sometimes people change their email addresses, and I'm confused. His vintage Wittenauer. Look at that with small seconds. Great looking linen dial. Fantastic. Look at those numerals, man. I don't even know what those are called. I've never seen that font before. What a huge watch brand it was. What's going over here? Oh, that's just a Rolex. Excuse you. I love how he's like, this is the Wittenauer, and there's a Rolex in there. And look at that. Somebody's comfy. I see that you have Spectrum cable because I recognize that remote. And an Apple TV. What a beauty. It's a calico. It's a calico cat. So I'm assuming her name is something. Did you write her name in there? I love when you put the names in so I can mention who it was. Did you? It's Laddie. Thank you so much. Or Latte. Maybe it's Latte. Thank you so much. Sometimes I just click on the pictures and I don't get the full thing, but thank you so much for that. Chris Boyd, me and Poppy. Hey. It's great. A man and his dog. Oh, Poppy. That's just a head you want to grab and go. See, now I got to be careful. I'm left-handed. I wear my watch on my right arm, and I'm sitting here, and there's this chair has. I'm gonna remove the arms on this chair because it's getting me scared. Yeah, get me scared. Get me scared. All right. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Chris Boyd. Angelo Minikilos showing us some art. Now, he got something in the mail, and he didn't really reveal to you're here right now, right? You didn't reveal to me exactly what is some art. That is really cool. What is that? Like some kind of blue sapphire? I mean, it's a movement in there, right? What is that? Did you say what it is in this email? Sorry, well, let me get that off there. Did you say what it is? No, purely an art shot. Okay, thank you so much. Special shout out to Kevin Hawthorne, who's a new member of the Bashtardos. He's a lovely guy, and he's a self-identifying man with special needs who has a very cool job in Florida where he is a master of train timetables. And I just wanted to give him a shout out because I don't really play videos on the show. He sent me a bunch of clips. I really thoroughly enjoyed them. Kevin, thank you so much for sending those. And kudos to you. He's got this incredible, like, savant-like ability to memorize bus schedules, and he helps out. He volunteers as at depots and tells everybody what train goes where and how to do it at what time. It's an incredible gift that he's got. Is a gift from Timmy, says Ray. Let me get that up here. Let's have a look. See, what did Timmy send you? He sent you a watch. Well, look at that. In Arabic. Well, not our Arabic. That. Look, it's like Tim Wright swag, Stampede, Cork Week, Ireland. Oh, that's I'm assuming that's your stuff. Celtic Glory. Well, that's nice. What is that? I don't know what it is. It's cool though. It's so you though, Ray. So you. And it's weatherproof. And God knows you need it for what you do. Amazing. Dean McKenzie. Hey, Dean. Very cool. Some watches. His first watches he ever bought before he started his mega collection. This is a Vostok Europa or Europe. He was a Vostok collector. Very cool. Very cool. Look at that. Red square, huh? You got some crazy pieces. And it doesn't matter what brand you start out on or end on. You know what? If these are watches that you love, don't get fooled by the glitz and the glamour. You know, we all love our Pateks and APs and Rolex and Omegas and whatever Vacheron, whatever floats your boat, man. I'm obsessed. Melly C's got me looking at all the Timexes now because I want a Peanuts watch. It doesn't have to be the Omega thing because they make some really cool automatic watches that are Peanuts related, and I think that's really, really cool. Steve Moreno, hey, sharing. Oh, mister, let's get this going. This guy came in like fire. Santos, look out. Brand, oh, is it an unboxing? Ooh, very nice. Thank you for sharing your unboxing in the classic Cartier box. Look at that. Oh, wow. Thank you so much for sharing this. Don't you love the swag you get? Look at that. Look at that. Doing it right. Comes on a bracelet, comes with a strap. That's the way to wear a Santos, man. Because Sheen and I both agree to we don't like those two-tone ones. They just look funny. That is a beauty, man. Congratulations. Wear that in the best health. Man, that is absolutely stunning. Stunning, man. And looks perfect on you. Steve Marino came in like a nuclear explosion, if we can figure out how that works. He came in and he's been sharing and very vocal on the channel. We love it. Here's Andrew with some Sunbeam action. Because you know what? Animals make our lives better. They enrich our lives. We can talk to them when people suck. Look at that. Sunbeams all over the house. Look at these kids having the best time ever, living their best life. And I hate that expression. But as Paul says, I hate almost all adages and expressions. I generally do. When people use them, it sounds lame. But look at them. Beautiful. They always find the sunshine. I have 8 trillion pictures of Laverne basking in her glory. Wow. What is this? I don't want to sound like an idiot before I go on here. No, you didn't tell me what it is. I'm going to try to read it because I'm not familiar with this brand. So, to show you how stupid I am. Very cool. Rudland. A TV dial. It's almost like a Mega Mark II meets a Nautilus. Isn't it in its shape? And it's a very Genta style bracelet. Wow. Wow. Beautiful. It's very cool. Steve Moreno commented on his brand new acquisition, and he said this came with the new clasp for the straps, so you don't have to fold the leather band over. Yeah, that's great. The old clasp destroyed the leather straps. I believe it. I believe that's true. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, what else we got in the Bastards Gallery? That was you. That was you, Al Benedetti. Thank you so much, Al. Okay, Fergal with some with a bit of DeVille action. I love DeVille's, you know that. These are great looking watches. Look at that. That is a domed crystal, kiddos. Such a classy addition to anything, man. You guys can wear that with jeans, a flannel shirt, or a suit, and you are going to look like the bee's knees, my friends. Look at that beauty. So simple and so beautiful. Three-hander with a date window in gold. Outrageous. Beautiful and affordable for the most part. And it's a beautiful piece. It would look great on every man. Look at that. Looking great. So slim, too, huh? You got to love the clasp with the Omega on it. Look at that. Cool. Oh, you just got this strap. M Pigeon bespoke leather. Bespoke or bespoke? I always said bespoke, but it's bespoke, isn't it? I know. That's language for you. That's language. Mispronunciation. Thank you so much for that. Jade. I was going to start out with you, but I realized I would never be able to I would never know where I was. Thank you so much. Oh, here we go, kids. First one on the show, the Flight Master. The rarely seen and the rarely lauded. Very, very cool on the show. You never see the Flight Master. Amazing. It's a crazy watch. It's an absolutely crazy watch, but it's beautiful and I love it. It's like people who don't love the Plo Prof. I love the Flight Master. Isn't that cool? Vintage is as F and it's beautiful. Look at that. It's tall. No, it won't fit under your suit jacket, but who cares? Thank you so much for that, Jade. Thank you so much. And then Dave Noel. Look at that. What is he rocking here? Let me pull it up. Oh, yeah. Wow. Look at this crazy. Hamilton strikes again. I don't know what kind of... Oh, that's a Porsche. Excuse me. It's Porsche. Porsche. Americans like to say Porsche. Porsche. Look at that. I mean, that looks like military grade. That looks like Zero Dark 30, man. That is a very cool looking watch. Send us a loom shot when you get a chance, kiddo. I'd love to see what that looks like. That looks like a loom, like loom porn. It sure does, man. Very cool. Thank you so much for that. That's the Bashard Gallery for today. Just I'll look at the rest of the chats and then we'll wrap it up for the Wednesday edition. And Pete Campbell's here. He says you'll be able to look at the new Rolex watchmakers, not be allowed to have them work on your watch. I'm very curious as to what everybody's feedback is. I mean, I got it directly from Rolex because I didn't call an AD. I called Rolex, and they pick up the phone in New York. It's very cool. You have to wait a minute or two, but you get to talk to a Rolex associate. Very, very cool. Time to unwind. Thank you so much. I ended my Wegovy journey. 50 pounds. Can we have before and afters for tomorrow's show? Can we? Do you mind? Why not? I think it's beautiful. I love that science is caught up to the fact that people who have a hard time losing weight and can, 50 pounds lost. Amazing, fantastic. For that, you get. Why not? Why not a little Bernstein for such a great? That's for the whole journey. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Carolyn Martin says, Ray, that's a special watch that I wanted from Timmy, so I'm a little jealous. Oh, look out. I don't even know what it was. Why don't you guys tell me what that was? I couldn't read it. It was you need a better camera, Ray. You need a better camera. Anyway, that's it for me, kids. It is 6:15, so we're 15 over, but fuck it, it's iBashers. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful Wednesday. Thank you for all the super chats. Al Benedetti, Nick Sisto, Andrew Olkowicz, Dean, Nathaniel, Steve, you're a superstar. You've entered you came in like a gladiator. The sharing is caring, my friend. Thank you so much for that. Dean again, Andrew Olkowicz again, and time to unwind. Congratulations on your amazing journey. I'm so happy for you. What an absolute amazing thing. Remember to send all of your emails to basherdirk@gmail.com. You share with me and I share it with the world. Anything you want to share. It could be your cars, your cats, your dogs. Screw people. Just Facebook for that. Your hobbies, what you make, what you love, all that stuff. Watches, tanks, Legos, whatever you like. I'll share it because you know what? This is a show about caring about other people, and we really have a good time. And when people are assholes, they're assholes, but not here. Here is the Patreon Pantheon. It's Jim Lassick, Andrew Wolkowicz, Go Moto Soto, Nick Sisto, Complicated Time, Fergal McDermott, Nathaniel Hanna, Dana O'Malley, Lord Scotty H, Lord H, Dean McKenzie, Al Benedetti. Thank you so much for all your stuff today. Angela Minichello, again, thank you so much. And Gasman 308. Thank you so much, everybody. So just remember in the future to say please and thank you. Remember to hold the door open. And remember that, when encountering a somewhat irate person, they might be having a worse day than you. Something terrible might have befallen upon them. They could be having a bad day, or else they just might be a total cunt.